What's up, Falcon fans? This is the preview episode of Week 7 against the Battle of the Birds. Will the Atlanta Falcons stand the test of times against the Seattle Seahawks attacks? So, if you guys like this type of content, hit that like button. If you guys hate this type of content, hit that dislike button. It will hurt your boy's feelings. Well, maybe just a little bit. But if you want to do a huge favor for your boy by hitting that subscribe button, it will help out the empire grow. So on that note, let's just dive into the video and let's start out with the Seattle Seahawks. The Seattle Seahawks were on fire at the beginning of the season, starting out 3-0, but after the Detroit Lions lost 42-29, they went 0-3, and they still are 3-3, second in the division right now. But the good thing for Seattle Seahawks, they do rank number 1 in passing yards with 1,778. When it comes to passing touchdowns in the air, they rank number 19 with 6. So when it comes to Geno Smith, he averaged 280 passing yards per game. Now, he usually averaged 1 touchdown per game as well. And the good thing for the Atlanta Falcons defense is that the Seattle Seahawks offensive line is giving up 3 sacks per game when Geno Smith is at the helm. That being said, we cannot underestimate this wide receiving core. DK Metcalf has 469 total receiving yards, 2 touchdowns, and he has 3 games already this season with over 100 receiving yards. Tyler Lockett is a guy that has always been shifty, can easily get 1,000 receiving yards on a daily season. For real, he has 1 touchdown with 339 total receiving yards. And then Jackson Smith-Njigba, who has 310 receiving yards, has 1 touchdown as well. And Geno Smith likes to spread the ball around with effect, so we have to watch out for that group. When it comes to the Seattle Seahawks rushing attack, I didn't realize, but it's kind of pedestrian. They rank number 31st when it comes to rushing carries with 125 total. When it comes to rushing yards, they rank number 27 with 579. And when it comes to rushing touchdowns, they rank number 6 with 9. And Seattle average over 100 rushing yards per game, besides 2 games against the Patriots and the 49ers. Kenneth Walker III is their leading running back on the tracks, and it's kind of shocking to me. He only has 1 game. That was the first game where he only had over 100 rushing yards, 20 carries, 1 touchdown, but against the Detroit Lions, he has 3 rushing touchdowns, but in total, he has 5 rushing touchdowns for the Seattle Seahawks, so he's capable of scoring. So when it comes to the Seattle Seahawks defense side of the ball, when it comes to giving up passing yards, they rank number 19 with 1,284. And when it comes to giving up the touchdowns in the air, they rank number 10 with 9. And when it comes to stopping the run, they rank number 28 with 868. And when it comes to giving up rushing touchdowns allowed, they rank number 14 with 6. So far for the Seattle Seahawks defense, they only allowed 3 guys to get over 100 receiving yards on them. 85, the tight end, Hunter Henry, caught 8 receptions for 109. Number 86, Darius Slayton, who caught 8 receptions for 122 receiving yards and 1 receiving touchdown. And number 1, Deebo Samuel, caught 3 receptions for 102 and 1 receiving touchdowns in the air as well. So when it comes to quarterbacks they face this season, when it comes to winning against the Broncos, the Patriots, and the Dolphins, they beat the rookie Bo Nix, Kobe Brissett, and then Skylar Thompson. But when it comes to quarterback, they lost to the Lions, the Giants, and the 49ers. That's Jared Goff, Daniel Jones, and Brock Purdy. So it's going to be very interesting how they're going to handle Kirk Cousins at the helm. There's one thing we have to make sure we cannot allow them to do is get after the quarterback, because they rank number 8 in getting after the quarterback with 17 sacks. So we have to look out for Derek Hall. By the way, a guy that I said in one of my videos on the drafting prospect that we should get this guy. Of course we didn't, but regardless, he has 5 sacks on the season, and we have to watch out for Boy Maifet, a linebacker that has 3 sacks as well. So now let's talk about the Falcons side of the ball. When it comes to the passing game for the Atlanta Falcons, they rank number 5 with 1,598. When it comes to passing touchdowns in the air, they rank number 10 with 9. Pretty good. So Kirk Cousins averaged 230 yards per game and averaged 1 touchdown per game as well, besides the New Orleans Saints where he had 0. Just like the Seattle Seahawks receiving core, we also spread the ball around with our own receiving core, where we have 4 guys that have over 250 plus receiving yards, and Drake London, who leads the receiving core with 428, Darnell Mooney, Kyle Pitts, Ray McCloud, and then Bijan Robinson's pretty close, where he has 161 receiving yards. So when it comes to the Atlanta Falcons rushing attack, they rank number 21 when it comes to rushing carries with 146. When it comes to total yard rushing, we rank number 16 with 682. And when it comes to rushing touchdowns, we rank number 21 with 4. The Falcons average around 80 rushing yards per game, besides 2 games against the Eagles where we had 152 and the Panthers 198. Go figure, right? And the crazy thing is that Tyler Algier, our second back, got his first 100 rushing yard game with 18 carries and 105 and 1 touchdowns against the Carolina Panthers. And Bijan Robinson, our leading back, has not yet got over 100 rushing yards. He came close against the Eagles and the Panthers, so the key for success is run the ball when you need to. Because Bijan Robinson is very talented, and there should be no excuses for him not to get over at least 60 rushing yards, unlike against the New Orleans Saints where he had 28. Even though we did win it, but it's just nice to know you can have a nice balance of a steady run game as well as a passing game. That's all I'm saying. Mostly so you don't put all the pressure on Kirk Cousins for him to try to win the game, even though it has worked so far, but you don't want to do that constantly. That's all I have to say about that department again. So now let's talk about the defensive side of the ball. So when it comes giving up passing yards in the air, we rank number 23 with 1,196. When it comes to giving up touchdowns in the air, we rank number 14 with 8. And one awesome thing about this Atlanta Falcons defense I don't think anyone's really talking about or giving notice is we only allowed one wide receiver to break out 100 receiving yards against us, and that was in week 3 against the Kansas City Chiefs, Rashid Rice, where he had 12 receptions for 110 receiving yards and 1 touchdown on the air. And we haven't allowed any other players to get over 100 receiving yards against us so far. So that's pretty impeccable in my personal opinion. So when it comes to the run defense side of the ball, we rank number 26 in stopping the run with 856. That's not really good comparing to the number 1 team in stopping the run with the Minnesota Vikings, where they only allowed 336 total so far. And when it comes to rushing touchdowns allowed, we rank number 27 with 4. But the problem is that we rank dead last in getting after the quarterback with only 4 sacks. And that's a huge problem I see for the Atlanta Falcons in this game. So what is the final verdict for this game? I have the Atlanta Falcons inching out a win 34-28. This was very hard because both teams have very same category statistics when it comes to the offensive side of the ball and the defense side of the ball. But there are 2 major factors I have the reason why the Atlanta Falcons are going to win this game. Reason number 1, we don't have to travel to Lumen's Field because that place is crazy good and it's hard to win in that stadium. Reason number 2, the Seattle Seahawks, they're on a 3-game losing streak, even though they could have won against the New York Giants and the 49ers, how those games turn out. But also the opposite can say for us, because we are on a 3-game winning streak and we have been scoring 30+ points per game in the past 2 games. So the momentum is on our side and hopefully it will last forever. So if you guys lasted this long to the very end of the episode, thank you so much for taking your own personal time and day to watch these Falcon content videos. I like making videos for you guys. Here's more on the screen if you guys are interested in. So what do Falcons do? Rise up. Until the next episode, show love and peace to the world, and peace.